right, Joe. So I was watching Earn Your Leisure recently, and they were talking about advertising that you're a black-owned business. So what are your takes? Do you advertise you're black-owned? Do you stand behind the company and just don't articulate that it's black-owned or Jewish-owned or white-owned?
Yeah, no, I do not articulate it for multiple reasons. Now, if somebody chooses to do that, that's totally fine. Maybe they have a product or service that's their target demographic are black people. But my services are for everybody. And even though I'm black, it's obviously owned by a black person, I don't advertise it that way for multiple reasons. Because I don't want to, I don't necessarily show my face on my business. Like, you don't see my face on my business card, because I want to keep it neutral. I want people to focus on the quality, the service. Obviously, when I show up, they know my identity, and whatever opinion they have in their mind, that's their opinion. Long as I'm in the presence of someone.
You don't think you can display that you're black owned as well as give a high quality of service?
I can, but I choose not to. Because my thing is, how many businesses out here advertise themselves as owned by a certain culture? Like, when you walk in a carryout, it's mostly owned from Asians. They don't have to tell you, but you don't have to shout. I just don't believe in shouting at the mountaintop that I'm black owned. And just like that guy on Earn Your Leisure, I understand what he was communicating, because there's opportunities sometimes that are in place, and sometimes people have a biased opinion based on culture, and they may not give you a fair shot. So if I force you to focus on my brand and my services and logo, stuff like that, then that's what I want you to focus on. I don't want you to focus on what the color of my skin is. I want you to focus on what I have to offer to the table. Now, if I show up and you have something against black folks or whatever, okay, that's on you. That's not my problem. You hired me for a service. Now, if you treat me on site based on that, then we're gonna have a problem, obviously. But I don't feel like it helps my business in any way to shout out from the mountaintop that is owned by a black person.
So, I mean, me personally, sometimes, when I look for particular services, I do look for black-owned companies. I want to support, keep the dollar within the community. So I think it can be beneficial, if you advertise that, hey, I'm a black-owned company, because now people that want to keep their money inside the black community, they can better find you. That's just my take on it. What you think, Jay?
I mean, look. At the end of the day, however you want to build your business is for you. So I agree with Joe. If you do, you do, and if you don't, you don't. I don't personally have an issue with it. I don't look at people who don't. It's like, oh, you're cooning, you scared. Like, I don't look at it like that. But I will say that we understand what the point of it is, right? The point of it is to be able to market to the people who may be racist, right, or have those leanings. Because at the end of the day, if you saw black owned on a company and that caused you to not book the company, you're probably a racist. Like, there's, maybe you're like, well, they have advertised it, and since they're advertising it, I'm not going to be with them. Like, maybe that's your real opinion, but 9 times out of 10, you're just like, oh, that's probably a racist person. So I get it. You want to get every dollar. I don't want to limit myself from any dollar in the marketplace. So I don't want to even say nothing, because I don't want to make sure that, I don't, lose any of those possibilities.
Box yourself in.
Right. Because maybe that person might have those views. I come out, I do my thing, and now I'm their go-to. Right. I maybe I changed their mind of what a black person can do, or their professionalism or whatever. Right. Maybe they had some preconceived notions. So I can understand it could be beneficial in that way. So I'm not mad at anybody doing it. I feel like I may do it, but I will say, I know that if there's an opportunity for people to get grants, loans, or anything because they're a minority business, they'll take that money. So I feel like if you're cool with taking money and saying that you're, taking money for maybe a grant or a loan or whatever, because you're a minority business, I think then you should, market your business as a minority business and be 100 with it. Don't do it when you can get the money for it, but not do it for other things, in my opinion.
So would you take that grant loan, Joe?
I'm not advertising my business as that. I'm not going to say, if somebody offered it to me, I'm not going to turn it down.
But like, if you join the government program and they're like, okay, you get a special benefit like we were talking to Ledbetter about.
Yeah.
You get a special benefit for being a minority owned business. You would join that program.
Mhm.
You wouldn't have no problem joining that program.
No.
So that's my only thing is like that. Not to say that there's anything wrong with that, you know, especially in terms of you, Joe. I know who you are, but you know, I would just tell people to maybe think about it. Like, why are you okay with taking the money for a program that's for you and because of your skin color, but not necessarily want to, or maybe you know to just say your black owned business on it. Like I wouldn't be like, I'm the blackity black cameraman. Like I wouldn't go that far. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think there's anything, like you said, you don't think there's anything wrong with it. But you know, that would be my only like, okay, that's kind of hypocritical. Like you're cool taking the money because you're a black owned business, but you don't want nobody to really know that you're a black owned business.
It's not about them not knowing it, but like I said, I'm always like, show your work.
Mhm.
It's a lot of ways people will. Sometimes people will talk themselves out of opportunities because they feel a certain way, you know. And I'm like, show your work. Like a business is about showing your work. It's more about than you saying something, unless that's what your business is about, public speaking.
Facts.
But if your business is about actually putting a product or service together, show your work, you know, and then they'll see who you are. It's not like, hey, I'm not on the job site. I don't want them to see who I am. No, you're going to see who I am. You'll see my personality. I don't switch up my personality or anything like that. You know, I'm pretty, since I was a kid, pretty much like, hey, you either like me or you don't, you know, so I'm showing my work. And now the ball is in your court. So it's up to you, however you feel. If you have a problem working with somebody based on the color of skin or their gender or something, that's not my problem. That's your problem. But I'm here rendering the service and you're going to love it. And now that's your problem. If you're stuck in your head and you're like,
That's
I don't
all
like this
aggressive.
person, but
you're gonna love it.
I mean, you are.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. I'm not trying to be cocky, but my thing is to come and do a job and wow you,
Yeah.
you know,
Absolutely.
whatnot. And then maybe your perception may change if you had that notion in your mind. But like I said, that's not, there's no rent and there's nothing in my head that like nobody lives in my head rent free about how they feel about me or anything like that. You know, my thing is come here, you know, be professional, respectful. We can shoot the breeze as well. You know, not shoot the breeze. Shoot what's the word? You know, shoot the shit. Yeah. No. I was thinking shoot the breeze. I was thinking of shoot the fade at first. I was like, no, shoot the fade.
Run the fade?
That's custom. That's
So
physical.
we can run the fade too.
No.
Yeah, we can shoot.
That's why I was like, I had to think about it. Like shoot the breeze. No,
Shoot
yeah.
the breeze sounds
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
that's
shoot the
right.
breeze. And whatnot, and do a great job. You're happy. You got what you need, and I go home. You know, but like I said, I'm not trying to shout from because what do I get from that? If I sit and shout at the mountaintop about who I am and what my business is,
Might get more
That's
black
like-
customers.
but I can get customers of all color no matter what. So unless my product or service was only for a certain demographic, because that product or service, if I was selling shea butter or something,
Right.
Yeah,
I get you.
yeah, I get
and
it.
then okay, this product is targeted.
Do you
Virus.
think that if you market as a black business, it will hurt your business?
I don't know that
But do you
because I've
think
never
it might?
tried it.
Do you think
It's a
might?
possibility.
It's a possibility it could hurt
It's
your
a
business.
possibility.
But do you think it's more likely it will hurt your business than benefit your business?
That I don't know.
No, I'm
It's a
just saying in
50-50.
general thoughts. Just
So
thinking
you
about
would
it.
potentially increase your black customers, but your concern is that you're going to decrease others, right?
Other cultures, yeah, because there's I mean, you have blacks, you have Hispanics, you have white, you have Puerto Rican, Asian. So my thing is to have as wide of a demographic reach as possible. I don't want to target to one demographic or another. It's not about trying to get this demographic or that demographic. I'm trying to get every demographic.
Well, what if it's not targeting though? What if you're just saying I'm a black? You just got the thing at the bottom of your website.
I think because sometimes people take that as you're targeting.
Right. They take it as, oh, he says he's black owned, so he's only for black
It's
people.
exactly.
Right. So ignorant people would think that.
I mean, yes.
Yeah. So
Yes,
yeah.
but that's not my job. Is to sort out. My thing is not trying to find the best fit customer.
Right. Oh no, I
That,
get you.
that should be the other way around, where they're trying to find the best fit
No,
company.
I understand.
So I have to tailor my business in a way where my service and products are made to fit everybody. One
So-
size fits all.
Say if it's a woman-owned company, do you think that hinders their business if they put, "Hey, I'm a woman"?
It could.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Of course.
In which way?
Many ways, because let's say traditionally you don't see women owned roofing company. You don't. That's
So-
just a fact. It's not my opinion.
Yeah.
So if somebody's saying, hey, I need a roof done,
Mhm.
most of the time they're thinking, because most time visually you see mostly men doing construction and labor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they say, hey, we're
But since
female,
woman owned, that doesn't mean you gonna have all.
it doesn't.
That's
It does
true.
not. But
Yeah.
right. But if it's woman owned, people may say, oh, I'm not used to that, so let me stay away. It's just the same way if you saying, hey, there's a lingerie shop,
Mhm.
but it's all men owned.
Yeah.
So it's not about men or women who's
Yeah.
better or whatever. It's just about
The
it's a
perception,
laundry.
yeah.
It's a lingerie shop, but you got big burly guys saying, "Yeah, we got this and all that." You can be like, because you're not used to seeing that.
Yeah.
You're used to seeing women generally have those boutiques and shops.
Mhm.
So that's what that's about. It's not about your
all
opinion.
man owned daycare. Like
Exactly. Yeah, it's like that's not typically what you see. It's not, you're not in your mind saying they can't do the job, but it's just that you're conditioned in a way to see things a certain way. You came up seeing men mostly do construction and labor.
Mhm.
You've seen maybe women running a clothing boutique. So when you try to cross those over, it's like it throws you for a loop for a second.
Mhm.
You're not saying, you're a little hesitant. Let's just be honest. You're not like they can't do the job. You're just not used to seeing that.
Mm.
You know, it's a good thing that you have a
Diversity.
female diversity, be able to have
Yeah.
a female own a roofing company or
Yeah.
construction company like that. But I'm just saying, it's you're not, if you're not used to seeing that, then yeah, it's going to throw you off a little bit at first.
Mm. Gotcha. So would your company hire the all woman owned roofers to do a roofing job?
My company, why would I need to hire them to do a roof?
So,
What are you
so
talking
you had
about?
a building. So you had a building for your videography, and you need a new roof. Would you hire the all female roof?
I mean, I'm gonna look at all the reviews and everything. I'm gonna look at just like any company.
the reviews are all good. You know, they say they're dynamite. They're fabulous.
Nah, typically I probably still go with another roofing company. I don't know.
Any last thoughts on that?
I
Jay?
mean, I'm not gonna go. Am I gonna go to a lingerie shop and, like I said, big burly men, and they tell me, yeah, this the right one right
he
here.
might
Like,
know his stuff. He might know
he
about
might.
the fabrics and
he
all
might, but I'm not. I don't know.
I mean, you know,
I had to think about it.
Yeah, in terms of
Even
it's
the
just-
roofing company, the female, I had to think about it.
man. I mean, you know, it's just. I think it's just unfortunate. You know, I think that it's unfortunate that we have to kind of, I don't want to say hide, but like that putting out who you are could be seen as some type of
It is.
statement other than that's just who I am. Like,
It is.
I just want you to know, like, hey, this is a black company, and we exist. Like, it's
Yeah.
not like it's a I'm black
Mm.
and you gotta book me first because of all the injustices. Like, I know that's how sometimes a lot of other cultures see it when we say that we're black, right? Black Lives Matter was like, oh, all lives matter. It's like, we never said you didn't. Like, so I understand that, like, sometimes making a positive statement for black people some people take that as a negative statement against others. But I just think it's unfortunate. I think that black-owned businesses get a bad rap. And maybe they deserve it. I don't know. I don't know all the ins and outs, but I think they get a bad rap, and I think it would be nice to know if what companies were black-owned that were doing their thing, because I think that would help maybe change a narrative that black-owned businesses don't give you good customer service and don't give you this and don't give you that. So, it's just unfortunate. I wish I'm a blackity black type of guy, even though I'm super light skinned and my hair is curly, a little curlier than most. But I wish I would want to scream it from the mountaintop, like, nah, we's niggas.
So I'm
But
gonna
like
get-
you said, sometimes it is nice to show up to an event and people not know what you are, and you can see it on their face, and they're like, oh. And then you start pulling out your equipment, and they're like, oh.
exactly.
And then you talk to them, and they're like,
show your work.
oh, right. It's like I've always talked a certain way, so I've always gotten
Hashtag show your work.
Yeah, you get the you speak so well,
Yeah,
you communicate so well, and all that type of thing. So you get that compliment,
Which can
all
be
the
a
time.
backhanded
Yeah,
compliment.
backhanded. You could be, yeah.
Speak so well for being a nigger.
Yeah, basically. But so I get that too, because sometimes you go somewhere and they not expecting you, and you show up and you knock it out the park, and then you blow their whole mind. So I think I do see a benefit in that as well, as being able to show up in spaces where you weren't expected in, and to knock it out the park, and then now they can't, now you've changed the narrative, you know what I'm saying? Whereas if you put that black owned on there, they would have never hired
Now
you in
you
the
got a
first
smirk
place.
on your face walking like,
Yeah, and maybe they would have never got you in the first place, so you would have never been able to change that narrative. So I do understand. I understand. I mean, it's a thing,
Yeah, and I don't see it bad on the other end. However, like I said, everybody's business is different. It's not one way to market or the other, and also too, I'm not really for the mindset of like, hey, if you're black, you're supposed to think exactly the same way as everybody. Like we don't all think the same way. We all, and I feel like when you try to tell people how to think, you put mental shackles on them as it is. I feel like, people should think outside the box because that's how you get better. That's how you explore. And if you stay thinking just inside your box, that's how you got some people that have been maybe in the hood and never left because they still stuck in that box. Like, no, I can never leave the hood because it's loyal. But it's like, you don't own nothing in the hood. But then you get that college kid that get a chance to leave the hood and they go to college somewhere in another state. And then their mind just opens up to the world. And they would have never seen it if they didn't have that opportunity. Because if they were trying to keep it so real, I got to stay in the mindset of my people all the time. It's like, no, we think similarly, but we also think different at the same time, And I just don't like that people trying to box everybody in because I'm like, dang, you doing exactly what people trying to get away from. You trying to put mental shackles on them.